get ready for some DJ rapping. And, oh, wait. Sorry about that, folks. I just can't help it for myself about the fact that I was going to be able to do some DJ rapping going on for the music department, but yeah, I just want to classify that. Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Silver the Hedgehog here, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to some more of Let's Play of Rayman Raving Rabbids for the Nintendo Wii / PlayStation 2 and also Xbox 360. So last time we have managed to gone through day 4 all the way up to day 5, and today, for the sake of this video, is the fact that we're going to be moving on to day 6, and also same applies to day 7. So even then, I think fundamentally though, for that specific scene right there, I think this is the final time we're going to be seeing Rayman got carried over by that big, huge guy thing right there, which I will have to admit though right away, I don't know exactly what his name was, and look at that. All the crowd is a little bit too little this time around, so either way, as usual, we'll go for the mini-games, of course, so here we go with day 6 selections of those mini-games. So let's see what we got first off. Well, as you know doubt by now, rabbits are heartless with pigs. Bring the little one back to his mother in less than 25 seconds. So, you move around with the actual, the analog stick or the nunchuck controller, and, oh boy, it's gonna be one of those, random luck-based minigames. I will have to admit though right away, most of the minigames can be subbed up as like pretty random and luck-based most of the time, because yes, if you mess up at least one here, then not only does the pig manage to turn into the forms of some sort of food, but also you get burned out as well. So, yeah, as far as this point, this is where the minigame starts to get a little bit more tricky and difficult as far as you progress for this, and most notably because of how the fact that if you keep on seeing those estimation marks right there, you never know if what are you going to be safe or something. Unless if you have a Wii speaker turned on, then you will have yourself an easier time with the actual minigame itself like this. But unfortunately, this minigame can be pretty luck-based depending on the forms of the repeats of this minigame, because most of these pathways can be pretty safe, whilst most of the time it will be unsafe, because if you come across into an estimation mark point, you will be completely done forever. So unless if you try this minigame again. But thankfully, this is the, let's say, the 4th time in a row for that specific attempt. At least I did manage to able to succeed. So yeah, definitely a little bit trickier, and especially noticeable is kind of I don't know, luck-based every time you're able to know of what exactly was going to come. Unless if you know, it kind of reminds me of one of those Rumble control mini-games in Mario Party GameCube days, mainly with Mario Party 4, 5, and 6, and 7, where basically that if you turn off the Rumble feature, then you get yourselves the estimation mark, and depending on how the factor with the actual rumbling inside. So that kind of feels the same way for this game within the speakers rather than rumbling. So, rabbits are oversensitive, so aim for 80 points by giving a bunny a huge bump. So basically he's going to have to flick the nunchuck all the time, and then basically you just have to keep whacking his head. So that's all you have to really do, and then basically you get like, I would say 10 seconds in order to actually just to do this mini game. So, and if you keep on doing it way too hard, then you weren't able to accomplish it. So, geez, it could be a lot more slapstick heavy, just like the forms of Tom and Jerry cartoons and stuff like that. But at least it knows, able to notice with the actual slapstick humor with some stuff like this. So, and we managed to reach onto that specific target amount. It's actually pretty short for that minigame too. In fact, most of the minigames in this game can sometimes usually take a lot quicker to make it end. Most of the time, most of the minigames can go a little bit more longer than expected. So, there we go. That's minigame 2 done in day number 5. Or, well, in this case, day 6, sorry. Because I know for the fact there has been quite a few hours since I managed to able to last touch upon this game. So, anyways, now let's move on to the 3rd minigame in day 6, and this time we have, well, as soon as these loading screens are done, bunnies have a poor grasp of and Tully. So earn 700 points by putting the bunny back together, but the right way. So basically we need to place those pieces together, and you're gonna have to memorize where the actual placement of some of those body parts basically. So either way, I think it's gonna aim directly from here, so we need to figure out... Oh, we're starting off the hand first, okay. I guess this will do it. Let's see what happens there on this the last result right here. So, at least we got the actual hands and mouth and eyes right, except the ears, which as a result, I somehow managed to fail on that. So, yeah, this particular minigame reminds me of so much of those, face palettes challenges in the forms of Super Mario Odyssey, except rather than just using a, you know, the cappy to able to actually make it a little bit more evidable than ever, but instead we need to utilize the Wii Remote in order to actually just get the actual angles right. So, but I think this is one of those mini-games that just gets a little bit difficult if you manage to memorize the actual placements on some of these body parts, which I'm not very good at this mini-game, I have to be honest with you guys, most notably because most of the time, if you really want to be dead accurate with all these body parts and stuff like that. Luckily, the minigame itself has been over for about a few seconds notice, but for whatever reason, it always forces me to start things off with those arms with a flower, which I kind of wish there was actually an option that can able to choose whatever body parts I was going to go for. You know, just like the forms of Super Mario Odyssey. But unfortunately, though, the game expects me to force to deal with the actual body parts I have to force to choose. So, hopefully we'll try this again, and hopefully we would able to get it this time or something. But then again, though, it's really depending on the forms of some of those weird pattern situations. So, I guess I might as well go for... Oh, I'm going for arms again. Okay, let's see if we can able to get this thing at the right moment. Is this will do? Oh, I was a little bit off. Let's start this again. It took me a lot of tries on this minigame, surprisingly, because either way, it's just a matter of the forms of, like, whatever if the actual lights itself will be blacked out, then it's your chance to able to memorize any single placement. I think I might actually get this time, or I'm hoping, but at least even then though, because it's depending on the forms of the angles you have to put up with, so... I think this might actually do it, but then again though, the school were able to tell me in the end, and yep, we did manage to reach for about 700 points, so... Oh, that's 5 tries on that specific minigame, which I'll have to admit though right away, I'm not exactly very great at that particular minigame, probably because it always reminds me of Super Mario Odyssey and stuff like that, with all these face puzzle challenges, so... Oh well, no big deal, but anyways, now let's go ahead and move on to the next dance sequence before we move on to the big main event in day 6. So hopefully we were able to see what's up next, so... Hopefully it won't give us that much trouble with, as far as I'm most likely doubtful anyway. So let's see what the next minigame we have. But of course, the next installment is Deep Down, Bunnies, or Rockhurst. So basically, we're able to get ourselves the whole amount of points, just like usual. And hopefully, the nunchuck will just not able to glitch out all the time. So, yeah, a few things I want to explain about this actually is that today's day is the forms of the 23rd of February today in 2020. So this means next week that we now ended up going to be on March, which is the 3rd month of the entirety of 2020, and also around the time that, well, we only got about 9 days left until the actual Nintendo Switch console will be released for about 3 years, so I don't know what the actual tracking of the best-selling units were able to go by. Well, we'll find out until whenever we get on to March, but then again, we'll see what happens there. We'll definitely see what happens, so... Anyway, though, another thing I just wanted to discuss upon also is the fact that, well, recently that, aside from what I've already mentioned about the films of Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker DVD, is now finally gets its release date in the forms of the United Kingdom and stuff. Oh, no. No. Oh, don't you dare run it on me. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, that's what happens right there. If you manage to let the bar go all the way up to the left for the red bar, then you won't get any points. So I'm guessing, I get a horrible feeling that my controller is like somewhat glitched out again. So yeah, because yeah, I think it's probably because my nunchuck is keep on glitching out. So yeah, it's probably one of those bad situations, I feel like. So, but hey, at least it's only 2 mistakes, so at least I can able to continue where I left off. So either way, because unlike the forms of when you're trying to get the actual red bar in a full amount, then you'll get kicked out instantly. So yes, you have to be very careful here. So, but luckily for me, I managed to able to actually just succeed for this mini game, no problem. And plus, because we actually reached up to 750 points, it's always the exact same amount of points as before. So even then, there's nothing that much different for this point. So yeah, that particular run is kind of rough around the edges, probably because I'll blame on my nunchuck controller, because most of the time it just worns out, and also same applies to the forms of how they usually, if I was trying to able to do my flicking motion, then sometimes it doesn't seem to calibrate. So yeah, that's what I can gather. So, and I think we might actually get something rewarding after this, which appears to be well, another new costume, which is actually almost inspired by Elvis or something like that. But then again, though, we'll show off multiple costumes if we manage to get onto the later days and beyond. So, anyways, so now let's move on to the next minigame, or the final minigame in Day 6, which is Bunnies Like a Good Race, which behaves exactly like how it did in the forms of in Day 3, except now it takes place in a different environment, such as the forms of likely, a castle kind of environment. So even then, though, just like last time, we need to aim for first place. So either way, I don't suppose there's any strategies that we can able to do this though, but then again though, we'll see what happens there if we're able to get ourselves a nice little run on that specific minigame as a result. So, and I'm quite surprised for this point too, is the fact that we pretty much almost at the halfway point of this game right now, which it wasn't until whenever we get onto the halfway scenario when we get into Day 8 and beyond, because, well, it's a little bit too early to discuss at this point right now, but then again though, it's a little bit much of a coincidence that we can able to discuss upon. So, but yeah, I digress. Few things we want to explain about the forms of today's video is the fact that, well, and remember I mentioned this before already, ever since in yesterday's video, that yes, the actual career rating boards just managed to able to list on Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition recently for the Nintendo Switch. We're really hoping we get ourselves the release date by the time for, let's just say, in the next Nintendo Direct at some point next week, in the forms of likely on Thursday specifically, because yes, as far as you already noticed by this point guys, unlike the forms of 2019 that is mainly focusing on Nintendo Directs on Wednesdays, but now in 2020, that I suppose Tiana was right after all about the forms of Nintendo Direct announcements is always going to be on Thursdays for this year. So even then, with one exception mind you, which is going to be on E3 2020 on specifically on Tuesdays. Well, speak more specifically for Nintendo. Oh no 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 no! Oh no oh no oh no you don't! Yes! Whew! That was really close. I'm almost gonna get myself screwed over. If I do somehow lose the race, then I have to go all the way back to that specific racetrack again. But luckily for me, I managed to succeed. So how's that for that one? And with that, Day 6 is fully concluded. So naturally speaking, we're able to get ourselves our 6th plunger right here. So hopefully we'll once again continue making ourselves the actual ladder with the actual plunger to begin with. So, yeah, that's what I can got. So even then, yeah, that's what I can really talk about that for that specific point. Well, that cutscene is a little bit more different, and also that we actually got ourselves even more items in the actual locker room. So this means we now got ourselves a carpet and an upgraded bed, and even some other items such as the forms of, well, to be more specifically, the actual jukebox is being upgraded, and also same applies to any kinds of decorations to be found around here. The only exception is, of course, the sink and the toilet, and another cutscene shows up, which appears to be a lot different, because now we don't be forced to be carried away from that specific stuff. So instead, that Rayman is gonna do his usual bits, like, just walk straight into the actual stadium itself. So, yeah, I guess that was the only major cutscene differences as far as later on throughout the game now. So now we ended up on day 7 for the likes of the actual game itself so far, and we still ended up likely having ourselves less crowded people, or in this case, less crowded Rabbids at this point right now. So everything else is a lot more quieter than any forms of how it does it on the previous days for sure, since the very beginning. So yeah, we're able to continue the rest of the minigames. So next up we have is Bunnies Can't Play Soccer. So basically aim 2,000 points by scoring your best goals in 3 shots. So basically you just have to run up with the Wii remote and a nunchuck for starters. Then press the A button at the right moment. And then basically you have to aim with the Wii remote on the actual sensor. So that way you can able to actually get your movements with the actual, the Rabbids might actually get into the actual goal pitch. So, and as you can see, we have to aim for ×2 amounts, because that way if you if you manage to score the goal, along with the actual ×2 value, you should able to actually double your point amount. But then again, the only thing you need to aim for is, of course, 2,000 points. And in order to actually do ×2 at the right timing moment, then basically you're gonna have to able to click the A button at the right specific timing onto that Rabbid right there, and then that way you would able to get yourselves ×2 value. But if you time it a little bit too early, then obviously you won't able to get yourselves double the amount of points value. So unfortunately though, I seemed able to mess things up at the very end, or to be more specifically, the second attempt of this particular minigame. But luckily though, you do get 3 shots at minimum, but if you short on quite a few amount of points, then you're probably not going to make it, unless if you retry the actual thing itself all over again like I just did right here. So alright, hopefully you should able to get a lot more better this time, I hope, but then again, it's just the amount of timing pressure I have to deal with. So okay, there we go. Let's just make sure if we get ourselves good amount of points right here, such as, well, of course, so far we've got 1,238, and of course we need to do this again, but the only thing is kind of tricky when it comes to this minigame sometimes is the fact that, you know, with the actual goalie right there, that, not to mention that he was actually far too big, but it's also the fact that the actual movements can get a little bit predictable at times. Well, it's nothing too versatile as the other attempts that I just managed to do. So, and since on the 3rd and final attempt I did somehow fail, but that's okay because we did manage to reach to 2,000 points. So how's that for that one? So yeah, I suppose another thing is I should probably explain about this right about now. CapKing74, he's now finally back in action, but he forms of his new Let's Play for his channel. And this time around is actually the second Rabbids game he's going to be playing through, which is usually a crossover game between Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. And yes, he'll be going for that particular Let's Play, which, funnily enough, what I found is kind of funny actually, is the fact that, although I'll explain more about it until in any second, the next minigame here is Rabbids Like Surprises. So, gets 51,000 points by moving the bunny. The more objects he touches, the more points you add it up. So basically you just have to like shake the Wii remote from the right and shake the nunchuck on the left. I'm not sure if it's opposite if you try to do it from there, but I don't know if this game will actually have ourselves the left and right-handed options, unlike Wii Sports Resort, and any kind of like any other Wii game titles or something like that, including Wario, where smooth moves and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess that makes it obvious. So now I think in this particular minigame, as a result, as you can see, we're going to be doing a lot of slapstick humor, as you can see right there. So we need to force to let the Rabbids might able to run over those too many hazard objects, mainly with those electricity contraption, as well as laid over tours and also cactuses, flames or fire, as far as I like to noticing this, as well as from that. I guess that's pretty much it for the most part, though. I think it only goes for about 30 seconds or something like that until the actual minigame itself is over, because as you can see on this drop shadow, I believe the actual huge objects were able to come in. So yeah, I guess that makes it a little bit obvious for that point right there when the actual minigame itself is about to be over. So, and I get a strong feeling about the fact that I don't really think I can able to make it to that specific amount, sadly. So in this case, nah, that's not enough. So oh well, we'll try it again, and hopefully we'll able to succeed for this minigame though. I first thought I was going to be more accurately trying to jump over the hurdles kind of thing, but nope, you have to able to let the rabbit got injured by too many hazard objects, mainly with cactus and as well as the actual rig, and even especially noticeable with the actual campfire and the electricity machinery stuff. So, and you have to, I think you, in order to actually succeed, not to mention you get yourselves 50,000 points by the end straight away. I think the ultimate premise for this is that you have to get about 1,000 points before that big, huge object thing will start to come and drop down in. So, that's the only key factor about this. So, yeah, what's kind of funny actually is the fact that since after all that I'm still practically gonna go for this game in particular as a Let's Play channel, as you can tell. Oh yeah, and also the actual some death traps, as you can see right there. So yeah, I guess that makes it obvious from this point right here. So yeah, because as a result, KevKing74, or Stuart, as was his real name, he managed to focusing on the second Rabbids game for his Let's Play channel, because obviously his first one is of course Rabbids Go Home, but now that he's now moving on to Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle Let's Play. So even then, I can't wait to see how it's gonna turn out to be, but the only downside I can think of for that particular Let's Play, I have to be brutally honest here, is the fact that the actual commentary between dialogues and everything like that, it seems a little bit more out of sync. Well, at least the actual commentary itself looks fine enough as it is, but it's just I can't hear the game audio very well, which seemingly to tell you for this point, guys. At least I did manage to able to let you guys hear the game audio quite a few times or something like that. But anyway, so let's move on to the next minigame here, which is on minigame number 3 on day 7. And I think this particular minigame is more accurately a continuation of the exact same minigame, which is Bunnies Are Slow to React Part 2, which is basically it's like the same minigame as before, except now we need to deal with the forms of a different tilting lap with obstacle. In addition with that, we need to beat for about 40 seconds this time around as opposed to 30, so it also just makes things a little bit more tricky and difficult this time. Unless if you're trying to utilize the those little green doors, as you can see right there, where this allows you to able to create a nice little shortcut if you manage to able to just touch them. But I'm actually up for a challenge just to go for a normal pathway, because I don't feel like just trying to take a risk most of the time. So, but don't worry, since we passed 30 seconds, that means we still got enough time, and boom, we able to make it to the goal. And sure enough, one of the rabbits just managed to get smacked, so I think that's pretty simple and self-explanatory right here, so you know. And I think we're now going to be moving on to the next dancing minigame, which is, you know, self-explanatory, so it's nothing too much to discuss. So, and I suppose that the last thing I just want to mention about something is the fact that recently, about a few weeks ago actually, well, only 1 week ago or something like that, recently about the fact that the final few rest of the Pixar films is getting a 4K Blu-ray release, which is only 5 of them, and the actual release date for those 5 films, well, we'll start naming them. First off is, of course, A Bug's Life, which, it was alright, and Monsters Inc., Monsters University, WALL-E, and finally Up. Although I'll talk more about it later. Bunnies Are Raving Mad, which appears to be the next music kind of dance sequence here. So yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, we actually got A Bug's Life, Monsters Inc., Monsters University, WALL-E, and Up are now finally coming onto 4K Blu-ray. So, and at this point in time, folks, we pretty much got ourselves, well, it's only noticeable on the USA countries at the moment. I'm not exactly sure on the UK version specifically though, but we'll see what happens in the future time. But at this point in time, for North America, they actually got themselves all of the Pixar films at the moment in 4K Blu-ray. So the only thing is left is, of course, the future film that is about to be released, which is called Onward, and also same applies to Soul, and I don't know about the other one though, which will probably be pointed out at some point by the end of, specifically 2020 roughly. So either way, it's getting a little bit more interesting as far as this point, so yeah, everything else to be expected, so... And aside from everything else though, that's as far as I can usually just try to say about it. Well, at least the only thing about the forms of Kept King 74's Let's Play of Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle this time around is the fact that at least he did manage to upgrade the actual quality for a bit this time around, which appears to be running on 720p, which is actually not too bad compared to the forms of his Let's Play of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, because usually in Breath of the Wild's Let's Play of him, basically just usually gets stuck with 480p, which is alright for the quality, but I can't really tell with the actual textures or anything like that. So at least he did manage to upgrade the actual quality for a moment. So I guess the only thing he needs left now is, of course, 1080p, like we just did for our, you know, current Let's Play of Yoshi's Crafted World, which at this point in time, Pickles might actually get back into that in Journey Forms of Tomorrow, all the way up to Friday, so hopefully he would able to actually catch up from here. So, yeah, I think that's pretty obvious for that specific announcements or anything like that. So, yeah, at least I'm really hoping that the actual next set of news, updates, or anything like that will come in a later day. But I don't know if the fact that we might actually get ourselves the first ever State of Play Direct for the PlayStation department into it at some point this year. But we'll see what happens there by the forms of next week or something. So, but aside from all that stuff though, is the fact that speaking of the forms of the presentation wise, I think Yoik Club, I really do apologize for that specific pronunciation error for this point, guys, but, you know, with the company that usually made, Shuffle Knight or something like that, you know, with the Highcase Club, presentation will be on its way until, specifically, on Wednesday the 26th of February, so at least we can able to see some new stuff, mainly with, some Shuffle Knight content, or even like that, before PAX East 2020 will be, on its way. So, at least there might be some exciting moments here and there for most other fans out there, so, but it's not my kind of thing, sadly, so. Bunnies love digging tunnels, which is another one of those, shooting range minigames, except now, it takes place on a minecart, or the mines, or something like that, which, to be expected at this point, because, you know, they just love digging tunnels and stuff like that. This is where the actual shooting range segments like this gets a little bit tricky and difficult. Well, nowhere near as like hard or difficult or anything like that, but it just gets a little bit more longer at the same time as well. So hopefully we'll get those in time before we're able to actually decide to move on to the next day, which is day 8 and day 9 and etc, etc. So hopefully we'll get those down during time, and speaking to tell you for this point, guys, we pretty much got out to be able to put up with some sort of like a spoiler warning territory. Is the fact that we might actually end off this Let's Play specifically on March, because, well, we just figured this one out for this point right about now, just because we just feel like just trying to able to, you know, just trying to tell you guys about it like this, so. And as far as I'm aware, it's the fact that this particular Let's Play has gone so well, actually, for our views count so far. Mainly with the forms of the first part of this Let's Play, probably because I show you guys the Xbox 360 version's loading screens, which, fundamentally though, I found that very hilariously entertaining, while it can get pretty annoying at times because it plays it quite frequently every time you're able to play for the next minigame, or even essentially just move on to the next day or something. So, at least that's the only downside I can think of with those 360 loading screens and stuff, so that'll be the only questionable thing about it. So, oh my god, these little bunchy spring Rabbids can be pretty annoying to able to deal with, because they manage to able to hop up with a specific timing, especially noticed by keep on getting hit by these guys, most notably because of how the fact that it's kind of tricky to able to get accuracy aiming, so But I digress. Let's go ahead and take down these little, you know, some more bunts here of Rabbids and stuff like that. So, yeah, I guess that makes it pretty obvious for that specific solution right here. So, it always kind of reminds me of those particular arcade cabinets where it comes to likely some of those, shooting games from the past. Specifically when you're trying to keep your ammo count and stuff like that, which always kind of reminds me of those kinds of stuff. Which that's the only thing is one thing I forgot to mention about this actually, since the very beginning of this Let's Play in particular. So at least even then, at least I can expect that. So, okay, so we got ourselves this new types of enemies right here. At least we got ourselves our full health restoring, so at least even then we got those. So, anyways, let's go ahead and take down this little, robot thing right here, which, I don't know how you can able to take him down though, unless if I just manage to get him most of the time right there. I think what we're supposed to do is that we have to keep on shooting those plungers at this robot, and there we go. Whew. It's a little bit tricky to noticing that until right about now, but it's just the... okay, so we need to take him down quickly before our health will slowly drain, so at least expected we're able to actually just do that, so... Not the forms of the actual minecart itself, or in this case, the actual, oh my goodness gracious, we are going down for a small, you know, some sort of a fun thrill ride kind of syndrome, so either way, yeah, I guess that makes it totally obvious for that specific, shooting range like this, so, I'm pretty sure we're almost nearly towards the end of this particular sequence, if I recall, well, aside from, we're getting to the most intense moments, such as, well, there's the Super Rabbit right there, which I think is actually kind of difficult to get in because he was actually in a dizziest raid. So, okay, so there's some more Rabbids here, and son of a biscuit, I think my reactions wasn't exactly peculiarly accurate on this specific stage, so... But then again, though, you have to keep on flicking a nunchuck every time you're able to run out of those plunger ammos and stuff like that, so... But then again, for this point, guys, that's all I can really say about this point today, apart from the fact that there's not much else to discuss. What I've already managed to discuss upon quite a number of things is the fact that obviously CapKing74 is now finally back on the actual YouTube statement, which he's now doing his Let's Play of Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I should probably point things out right away too, is the fact that that particular game might actually be his second Let's Play has been playing on the Nintendo Switch console, so... Because obviously the first one he's ever done in a Let's Play of the Nintendo Switch game is of course The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle might actually be the second Let's Play for his Nintendo Switch career. So, because we already done quite a lot of those Nintendo Switch Let's Plays, mainly with the forms of Super Mario Odyssey, and also same applies to Sonic Mania, and also Sonic Forces, and also same applies to Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and especially noticeable for Super Mario Party, so... God knows we're able to actually do the next set of those Nintendo Switch games in the future, but then again, we have to wait and see what happens there, until whenever we've done those kinds of Let's Plays first, although despite the fact that Piglet is still carry on doing, you know, Yoshi's Crafted World at the moment, so I guess that makes it totally obvious for that specific, uploading schedules by this rate, so... Okay, come out, you, silly, Splinter Cell Rabbit right here. Although I did manage to get him luckily, so even then we're able to let him stay completely still, even though sometimes he can be a little bit tricky to able to deal with those guys. But anyways, let's try and take this guy down, and hopefully we would able to rescue another baby glow box. So I don't know how many of those baby glow boxes that we've got at the moment. I think this is now the 5th one, because in day 6 it's all about the race, and in day 3 it's all about the racing as well. So that will actually be baby glow blocks number 5. So yeah, I guess that makes it obvious for that specific amount of totals, if you can clearly tell, for that specifically trying to save those baby glow boxes, if you couldn't tell. And of course we're able to get ourselves our 7th plunger right now, so either way, that pretty much takes care of day number 7. So either way, now we are moving on to day number 8, which unfortunately I don't think I've got enough time for this point, so you know. And with that being said though, as far as changing the costumes are concerned, well, I'm pretty sure we might as well change back into its normal himself. So, well, for now anyway though, until likely next weekend or something. So, yeah, join me next time on Let's Play Rayman Raving Rabbids. It's the fact that we're going to be hit on to day number 8, and probably day 9 as well. So hopefully there's going to be a lot of opportunities to do so. So yeah, see you guys next weekend on Informs at the end of February. Later, fellas.